Bye, guys.
All right. So today we are sitting here with Greg Morga. We're on one screen, believe it or not. We're sitting awfully close together, but
Fine with me.
so backstory. Greg and I had been communicating over social media for quite some time, and we actually are now considered to be friends. As I consider Greg a friend. I'm very proud of all of his accomplishments. I'm excited to see what he does, not only in his career, but also how he grows personally as well. So welcome, Greg Morga. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell everybody about your story? Where'd you get started and where are you at today?
So I started in the mortgage industry around 2017. I was working for AT&T for about 5, 6, 7 years. And, I had a really good career. I had a 401k benefits. I was a manager at a store, very, very promising future. Right. But I wasn't happy. I've always wanted to have like a certain ceiling. When you're working for a big corporation, there's only so much you can go in my eyes. And I just wasn't happy with the hours. And I really wanted to do something that I've always wanted to have, that like entrepreneur kind of role, build something from the ground up and show that you can do something that, is a little bit harder per se. So eventually, just by knowing people, I got into the mortgage industry. I started as an admin role. It was a very tough decision because I was starting from a bigger salary, guaranteed money. I was with my girlfriend, who at the time, we were engaged and we were thinking of starting a family. And I had to make the decision of dropping a pretty good salary to going down to almost minimum wage and learning from the ground up. But I'm glad I did, because I fell in love with the mortgage industry.
What did you find to be your hardest transition from admin salary to fully commissioned loan officer early on?
Well, I think the hardest part was I always made sure that I had some sort of nest egg when I got into it. But the way that I was able to, and this goes out to the company I worked for and the branch I worked for, they let me kind of build my business when I was still in the loan partner role, because I had gotten my license after a year starting. So I didn't have that hard transition of, hey, I'm starting with zero. I had already built, a little bit of a Rolodex between a couple of realtors and a couple of past clients, and just getting the word out that I am in the loan industry. So when I did go out on my own, I didn't have that kind of fear. I would say that the only difference is, instead of clocking in and having that kind of accountability, really the accountability comes down to you. You're the only person that's going to wake yourself up, go to work, call. No one's watching you because there's no guaranteed money. So I think that was probably the biggest role change I had to adapt. But I was excited. I fell in love with the idea of, doing something that a lot of people don't know how to do necessarily, and advising. I always loved education. I came from an education background. I thought I was going to be a professor. I went to college and everything like that. I was trying to teach political science. So I think that's what kind of helped me fall in love with something where it really is an advisory position when you're in the mortgage industry.
Now, what have you seen? Obviously, your business has grown tremendously and you kind of adapt on the fly, right? You don't know if you're going to do one deal or 100 deals. How did you find yourself balancing going from 2 deals a month to 10 deals a month to 20 deals a month, and then managing a 40 loan pipeline?
It's going to sound weird, but you kind of just go with it. There's never the right time to build business. When any time you can build business, that is the best time, because that's what we're in this for. We're in this to build a pipeline, because that gives you stability in the market. Some deals fall through. Some borrowers do shop you. There's things you can't control, but the only thing you can control is your security blanket. So the more loans you have, the more wins you have, and the more security you have. So for me, I would say that managing, going from 2 loans to 3 loans to 5 loans to 6 loans, is really just setting those paradigm shifts of, hey, when am I going to need more help from the assistant side? When do I need to invest in myself?
There we go.
Right?
Another alert.
When you first start out, you're investing in how do you go get business. So paying for leads, because leads bring you prospects, which gives you some sort of hope, right?
Yeah.
And something to give to someone that you're trying to get business for. We are a referral-based market. So I would say you invest in yourself at first, right? But then you invest in your team to help you delegate. If you can't automate, you delegate, or you don't do. So you have to figure out the things that's making you money, right? And you have to figure out the things that, if you had someone else do it for you, will make you more money, because you'll have more time doing A. Right.
Why do you believe you're successful? And why do you believe you've experienced so much success within the first 4 years of your business?
Working really, 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 really hard. never saying no, and falling in love with my job, because when you fall in love with something, you want to be the best at it, and you want to educate yourself, and you don't mind spending that extra time that maybe other people that are still treating it as a job don't want to spend when you're talking to a borrower, and maybe they ask you a question 3 or 4 times because they really don't understand it, and going a little bit deeper into the why. I think a lot of buyers and borrowers of mine and the referral partners alike see a value in me, not as a money sign, but as they know that they know that my clients are going, their clients that they give me are going to get taken care of. If they can buy a house, I'm going to know what they can buy, but they're going to have the reasonable expectations. But if they can't, we can always find a way to eventually buy a home. So
it's funny. So as you know, I train with a personal trainer,
right.
You know, someone I look up to, I admire, one of the strongest men in the world, mentally and physically.
Right.
And we recently got into running. Obviously, you know, I broke my ankle years ago. I never got back into it. Once I tried getting back into it, I pulled muscles in my leg from not utilizing them properly, right? Whole war story, right? So I'm like, let's test out running. I feel like I can really run fast again, right? I have not run full speed, other than the past 2 weeks, since 2018. So it's a long time.
Yeah,
I've jogged, you know, I've, you know, pushed some speed, but not full speed. And the craziest thing is so I killed the workout last Monday. So now I show up Saturday, but Monday was a speed workout. Saturday was a conditioning workout. And I pay my trainer $125 an hour. So it's cash. It's good money, right? And I show up, I tapped out 12 minutes in. 12 minutes, I was laying on my back and I was defeated. I was miserable. And for the next 48 hours, I was down on myself, as you can imagine, right? So I showed up for I'm like, listen, we have to get back on the horse Monday morning. I'm back 7 a.m. And he's like, I knew you'd be back because that's who you are. You need to get that win immediately after dissecting the loss, right? And here's where I'm going with this. He also said to me, you kill the speed sprint workouts because you know it's 5 to 10 seconds, right? When you love to do something, neurons hit your brain and you're so high on doing that exercise that you're good to go.
Right.
Because we did a conditioning workout, which is 30 seconds on a treadmill that's on an incline, you didn't love doing that. So your body didn't actually ever turn on and look forward to it, right?
So true.
So that's why it's so important. Like if you're in a dead end job, getting out of that dead end job because you hate getting up, you hate going to work, you hate doing the task. And what we do, we have the freedom and flexibility of creating our career, creating our schedule, and more importantly, controlling our income, which I think is the most important factor.
Love it. Yep, that's so true. You know, going back to the wins, right? So going back to AT&T, and I think really AT&T did give me a work ethic because they really do have a very good training program, and they really do push you to your best self. I do have to give them credit for that. But the one thing was, every time when you were in a sales job and you had to sell a certain metric, you had to write it on a whiteboard, right?
Oh, really?
So you didn't get
visualize it.
To visualize it, right? It was really for accountability measures because they wanted to see what products people were selling. But for me, I always wanted to be the best at something. So it wasn't about the sale. It was about, I just wanted to go on that whiteboard and put 1, put 2 for this product, put 3, and have so many written that everybody else was like, how the hell did this guy do it? Right. So I kind of, it helped me do well. I was number 1 in my metropolitan area when I was at AT&T first year, and I got promoted to manager and everything like that. And it was that drive of, I didn't focus on the money, I focused on the wins. So I kind of implemented that when I got into the mortgage business. You know, when I first started, how many, you know, I remember Zillow saying, you know, the average retention is like 3%. I was like, how do I get to 10%? And I would call and I would be, you know, I'd be fixated. I didn't even think about how many loans I was getting, just how many calls was I getting, right? That was my first win.
Micro.
Yeah. And then how many prospects were I getting? How many leads could I give out to a said realtor that I wanted to work with to make it like, oh my God, how is this guy giving me so many leads? I need to work with him. And I think that idea of focusing on the wins and setting your wins and trying to always go above the limit that you think you can do, never set limits, be unrealistic as you can so that you can reach that goal. Because I do think that reality is really subjective. And that has really gotten me to the point where, you know, like you said, I got to, you know, my first year, I was only in the mortgage industry. It was like April to December. I closed 36 loans for, I think it was like 16 million. But then my second year full time, my first full year, I closed 118 loans for 35 million. And then my year, this past year, which was my second full year, you know, I did 197 loans for 60 million flat, right?
Do you ever think you'd be making $1 million a year to yourself?
No, but I knew I was going to try my absolute hardest to. And like I said, now it's like, how do I make 2 million? Not because I want to make 2 million, because I want to say I did it.
And
how do you delegate? Yeah. And now I'm starting to learn that now the role is, how do I delegate more and build a foundation based on the business that I created rather than the same things that I was doing when I first started. And I think that adaptation and having goals and having a vision separates you. And it also reflects over the referral partners that you're working with. You know, the market's really tough right now. It's completely different than it was for the last 24 months. Realtors, financial advisors, solar consultants, which you know I'm huge on, they want to see somebody, whether it's a lender or a title person or anyone that's trying to get their business, they want to see that not only are they going to give you, you know, I'm going to give you a lead if you give me a lead. They want to see that you have a vision, and they want to see that you have a plan for that vision,
roadmap,
and that you also are investing in their success, not just your own. And I think that is the way the referral market is supposed to work. And I think now with this market changing, it's going to be ever more important for the people that have unique identifiers as vision.
you can't be transactional,
right?
In this market,
No.
you can't be.
No. And like we were saying on a previous call, it is going back down to not just a bargain market, but an advisory market, right? Because the only reason why we're sitting in this room is because it's a very intricate industry that we work for. If it was easy, you'd be on a computer and doing it.
You wouldn't need a person.
Right. So you have to prove your worth, not just your bargain. And I think that is a very, very good opportunity for the people that survive the next 24 months. The people that can adapt, they're going to have a hard time. But the people that do actually adapt and put in the extra work, they're going to thrive. And then they're going to even thrive more when it turns around and the rates go back down and maybe we have more inventory.
And I know you have an exciting announcement to make. You just made a big shift and now you got
Yes.
promoted. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah.
What
So,
also got you to that point of being ready?
well, the announcement is that I switched over to Cardinal Financial as a producing branch manager with the idea of building out a region in Monmouth and Ocean County, which I still to this day am just so humbled and honored that they would, see that drive in me to be able to do that. I wasn't in the best place in the world 3 or 4 years ago. I worked really, really, really hard, and I had to learn the hard way, but I'm thanking God every day that it happened. So, I still have that humbleness, but I know I deserve it and I know I can do it. But what got me to make those decisions, what you're asking, I would say that just watching the industry, it was a very, very hard decision. The company that I worked for previously was very, very good for me. I never really had problems with them, but the vision and of Cardinal and what they are doing in this market really, really, really embeds in what I believe in. And you have to have a vision, and sometimes you have to make those hard decisions if you want to be an entrepreneur. You have to take risk. A lot of people, with the amount of money I was making and the goals that I had at my previous company, probably would think I'm absolutely insane to change something.
And not many 7-figure earners make moves.
No. And it's still new to me, man. But I never focused on the money, and that's where it got me to today. I focused on the vision, and I believe that after multiple conversations that I had, that Cardinal was the right fit for me, and I couldn't be any more excited to show those opportunities to my future clients and referral partners.
Let's go back to October when you hired me to coach you.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through your mindset. Walk me through why you removed the ego and pride from hiring me, knowing you're a 7-figure earner, your trajectories, to the moon. What made you make that business decision? And what was it about me that you saw that could help have the confidence to help take you to the next level?
So a couple things. So the first thing is that I'm very big. I do believe that coaching is imperative in this kind of market. Things that I would have never thought of, I learned from coaching. And you're always supposed to, in any kind of referral based market, have 3 advisors, right? So I had one. I belong to this club called the Freedom Club, which is by Carl White. They helped me a lot build the idea of, instead of being a craftsman, be an entrepreneur, right? But I also wanted to focus on my own personal growth. That was maybe outside of building a brand, like whether it's just with my personal business or my personal life. And the way that I met you was that I saw your post, because you're really good on social media, and you posted a question like, how did this deal get done? And I really, really tried hard to figure it out for an hour, and I was completely off. And you messaged me and said, hey, good try. It was actually crypto. I don't even remember what the question was, but it was something totally outside the box. So I like that about you, because going back, I have an educational background. And the one thing that I was learning when I was going to be a professor back in the day, which who knew I was going to be a
Professor
mortgage guy?
Morga.
Yeah, was the lack of divergent thinking that's taking place because of standardization in schools. And divergent thinking is the ability that actually younger kids have, but they lose it when they go through school. But it's to think outside the box and, kind of shape shift reality. So you give someone a question, how does this chair work? Do 3 things with this chair. We just think of the reality of just sitting in the chair, using it for functions that we know exist for a chair. But divergent thinkers would say, well, what if that chair had 4 arms? Or what if that chair was bigger? Could it be used for something else that has nothing to do with the idea of what we use a chair for? So I know this sounds crazy, but it really does relate, because with you, every post that you made was something that, through the guidelines of Fannie and Freddie, through retail lending, the way that we're taught how to structure loans is so outside the box of what you do. I wanted to have that kind of aspect in my thinking for my professionalism to grow. So I was like, you know what? There's not many people like this. He's doing divergent thinking, which I'm a huge fan of it. I got to find out about him. So I messaged you. We started talking. And, I really just go with my gut with that kind of things. I mean, I think I talked to you twice. I called you on the phone when I was like picking up furniture.
On a Saturday with your wife in the car.
Yeah, driving. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I've taken chances before. And, we made an investment. And then, I think the coaching was just like 30 minutes every 2 days.
It was an hour a week for 10 weeks.
Yeah. And the first thing you taught me was, hey, focus on this clientele because you could become an advisor rather than just a salesman. And I was like, boom, I always thought of that and it validated what I was thinking, but you gave me a plan to do that. So I started tackling more financial advisors and getting into the investment strategy. And already my business started going up. So I was like, okay, well, that was one thing that took 15 seconds to learn. Let me learn more. And what I really like about you, man, is that, you tell me when I'm wrong. And,
kudos to you for actually accepting it. You also tell me to basically fuck off.
I still tell you to fuck off, but no.
You're like, fuck off, you're right.
Yeah. No, but you need accountability. I think anyone that wants to grow, if they're just told that they're great and they're doing great things, they're not going to try and do anything else. So I just like being pushed, and that's what you do.
What have you learned most from our interactions, and even go after the 10 weeks of coaching we did?
I would say that personal health and family really is more important to grow your business in the long term than anything else. The one thing they taught me, it sounds so stupid, but I've recently had my first child, and I used to say, I'm going to see my kid. And you told me to say son. And I really thought it was kind of weird that you told me to do that. But then I started referring to my child as a son, and it just has such a better meaning. And that meaning has helped me figure out, okay, what's the why behind why am I doing this? And instead of being out at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock every day, which I still do sometimes,
you have to.
Now I'm learning how to grow in a way where, what is this all for? Right? There has to be a life balance. I have to get better in shape. I have to be there for my son, not just for my clients. I can still be there for my clients, but the bottom line is everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm working for has to be for my family too, because they're the ones that stood by me. I'm not going to cry, but they're there from the beginning. And I have to remember that. So I think the personal growth aspect has really helped me more than the business aspect. It's just given me a different perspective.
I think people feel like they have to be 100% all in on either personal or professional. Mm-hmm. And there's no perfect, healthy balance, right? Mm-hmm. Anything that we do in life, I feel like we all, especially athletes and competitive people, we all want to give 100% to.
Yeah.
But you have your wife, right? You have your business, you have yourself, and you have your career. You can't give 100% to all. No. What I've learned is every day you need to wake up with the intention of giving 100% to one thing. Right. And it's okay not being the best father in the world today. Mm-hmm. And it's okay not being the best husband in the world today. And tomorrow your business might suck and you might shut your phone off, mm-hmm. right? But at the end of every week, there's 7 days in a week, mm-hmm. you need to make sure you can look at yourself in the mirror, right?
Yes.
And if that mirror is dirty or clogged, right, you're fucked. Because you're always going to feel like some part of your life is lacking. And that's why I think that balance is so important. And I think where we're able to supplement that in our career is it could be Wednesday at noon and you're not answering your phone calls right now because this is what's most important to you right now, most important to us and what we're building, right? Mm-hmm. When you leave here, I probably won't hear from you for 3 hours until you get home and you handle what's important at that time, right? And again, that comes with age, it comes with experience, and it comes with prioritizing really what's most important to you. And if you don't know what your top 3 priorities are in life, you're never going to be satisfied with yourself.
And you need to know your worth. you know.
I think you've learned that from me as well.
Oh, actually, a big time. Yeah, I remember you said it to me, and you were pissed off. You were like, "I can't wait till you grow up and actually see your worth." And I was like, "Fuck you, Jeff." But then I thought about it after, and I was like, "I get what he means. It clicks." You know, once I started reading T.D. Jakes and everything,
He's good, right?
It's amazing. Yeah, it's crazy. And I think the one thing that you liked about me was that I do what I say I'm going to do.
I think I like the fact that you listen and you respond, you don't react, right? And I appreciate that from a coaching standpoint. And look,
what's the point of doing coaching if you're not going to follow?
But again, listen, I played sports my whole life, and I think what it really boils down to is if you trust the person that the information is coming from, they could say anything to you, but because you respect them, you know they're coming from the right place.
Yes.
I've played for coaches that I've hated and I've loved. And I can tell you that the ones that I loved, still broke their chops, right? But the ones that I hated had no shot whether they were right or wrong getting through to me because I didn't respect them. And they caused that, right? It wasn't me.
No.
But I think, again, from the matter of coaching, you have to coach and train people to their craft and ability and skill set. Like people say, oh, like why don't you do a website on your coaching? I'm like, because my coaching is individualized. Right. I'm not going to sell you a 10-week coaching program when you need 30 minutes with me.
Right.
And I'm also not going to tell you I need 30 minutes with you because you might need 2 months worth of stuff.
And every person's different.
Every single person is different and also learns differently, you know? So I think, again, it's so important getting down to the person of, hey, what are you focused on? Where can I help you? Where can I add value? I don't want to be coaching you, right? I want to coach you when you need me. Not just say, hey, every Tuesday we're going to talk and catch up. You can send a text message for that. It's not about that.
Right. It makes it more standardized, which just goes back.
I want to know what's next for you. Where do you see your business growing? I want to know what's next in the next 12 months and 3 years for you.
So within the next 6 to 12 months, I'm focusing on building a team and building more expansions with my referral partners, because my whole idea is the referral partners I work with, we started from the ground up together. So now, use the term, let my people work with your people, and kind of go from a craftsman to a rainmaker per se, right? So give opportunities to other people that, whether they've been in the industry for a while and they want to look at something differently or think differently, whether they're brand new, but they're afraid to make the jump because they don't have any direction or training, which is something that Cardinal was very, very well at. Is helping new people, by the way, which is another reason why I went there. But besides that, how can I help people become better at their careers, and how can I help that go and work with my referral partners to help them develop their own, and everybody eats. That's my model for my branch. So the next 6 to 12 months is build my own branch, but also make it on an automated pilot so that if I'm not available, somebody always is.
Meek Mill has a line. He says, like, a boss is one that guarantees we're going to eat.
Yeah. So that's, that's what I'm looking at. And then after that, trying to spread that message and that vision into, the surrounding areas of Ocean and Monmouth County, eventually spread into other areas that I think are going to be future bigger markets for New Jersey, particular in the next, 24 to 36 months, and just kind of, keep going back to that vision and growing it and creating a system that everybody's happy, everybody's making money, and we're all still hungry though, to learn.
As we close up, before we open up for a couple questions, what's your advice to a struggling loan officer right
now? Get rid of the ego. Get rid of results orientated thinking. Look back into what you did the last 24 months and dissect things that you maybe could be spending more work on. You got to dissect your business, and you got to work hard. What I've been saying is that educate to dominate. The industry is going to change. It's already been for years. Obviously with the pandemic and lower rates and everybody having equity, it stopped the whole transition from bargain selling to advisory selling. I think now that the pandemic is over and we're back into reality with interest rates and obviously the problem with inventory and rising prices at the same time, I think your best quality is going to be how can you educate the buyer, your borrowers, how can you educate your referral partners and help them succeed, and knowing your market. And I think if you can do that, and if you stick with it, and if you are focused and you work hard and you understand that you might have to work a little bit harder to make a little bit less, but it's not for the short term, it's for the long term. I think this is the year for personal growth that can help you make those dividends in the near future. And it's not going to be a far future. It's not going to be 10 years from now, but it's not going to be 4 months from now. And I think if you adapt to that mindset, I think you'll be successful.
All right, so we're gonna open up the questions. Roland, Amide, and Cherie, do you guys want to take yourself off mute, turn your camera on, and ask Greg or myself or both of us any questions? Don't all take yourself off mute at once. Cherie, do you have anything for us?
Hi.
There you guys go. Now we see
I'm
some
going to
life.
take myself off mute, but not off camera because I'm having a crazy hair day.
Any questions? Or actually, you know what? I don't know if my volume's on. Hold on.
Your volume wasn't on.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. There you go. I turned my volume on. Anita, you want to ask a question?
Yes, I'd like to know what advice you would give to, I have over 20 years experience as a processor. And I felt like I was really unhappy processing the last 2 or 3 years. I feel like the brokers that I was working with, I was doing everything and, they weren't doing their part. So I recently opened my brokerage so that I could start originating. But now, I feel lost. Like I'm not sure what my next step needs to be. I opened the brokerage. I have a few referrals from like friends and family, but like I've never had to advertise or network to go after business. So I'm just trying to figure like what advice would you give me? Like what do you think my first step should be, I guess?
Well, I think the first thing would be you got to figure out, you got to build your Rolodex, right? Your Rolodex is your lifeline. Got to remember realtors, right? Financial advisors, solar consultants, right? They're going to go out and they're going to try and make deals, whether the rate is 9%, whether the rate is 2%, whether homes are overselling, whether they're underselling, because that's their profession. So for you to have stability and not be market dependent, you need to build a referral Rolodex because that's what's going to bring in the deals for you. So I would say the first thing that you need to do is you need to have goals in place and you need to write them down. How many referral partners can I get per month? How am I going to get those referral partners? What actions can I take for money, to get them? Do I call them? Do I set up appointments? Maybe you just open up a brokerage. Do you have your own office?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a new office. So why don't you go out? Always have a meaning behind meeting people, not just because you want business. Say, listen, I have this new brokerage. I'm trying to do maybe like a grand opening event. I want to show everybody my office and my team. Would you have, if I set this up, would you come by and talk and we can talk about our products and services and what I could do for you? I think if you provide them a reason to meet you rather than just, hey, I want your business, I think that's where you set yourself off as a differentiator and you build upon that, and you come up with a vision and what you can provide to their clients in a hard and ever-changing market that maybe other people aren't doing, whether it's you come from processing, so obviously you know how to do a cleaner file, right? Because you see, most loan originators don't see 90% of the things you do. So I think coming from a processing side, you do have the advantage that you're going to have cleaner files, which is very, very important in this market because really listing agents their main priority right now is to pick the right deal. They pick the wrong deal, they look like the person, even though we know that there's other intricacies at place, right? They're the ones that get yelled at or blamed when a deal falls through because they picked the wrong deal. Be that loan officer that makes them feel comfortable that every time they use you, you are the right deal. Something like that. Build upon that. Have events at your place. Do lunch and learns at your place. That's what the office is for. Your office is not for walk-in business. It's for visibility and to bring people to you so that they see that you have a vision. So I would
also
say,
think maybe partner up with some good salespeople that may be bad at the processing and create that hybrid of a win-win. Get them on that could sell but can't process or structure. You kind of bring that avenue. So I would also, probably focus on that. Help a new loan officer that can get business but can't structure a deal. Have them be an outside sales concept with an internal processing, system already built for them.
Educate to dominate. That's what sets people apart right now. How can I help people become better at their professions, whether it's directly involved with their profession like real estate or learning an aspect that they have to know a little bit about when they're in real estate, such as lending. So I think you start from there and you go from there and see how that works, see the responses that you're getting and then go from there.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
By the way, we do this every week, and we also have prior episodes that you could watch as well. So I hope you could join and go back and watch the prior ones as well. If you have any questions outside of here, feel free to message both Greg and I anytime one-on-one. We don't charge. We're here to help you. If we can help you grow your business, that's what we need.
Thank you so much. And then can I ask, well, I'll wait for everyone else.
Go ahead. You can ask another question. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, like, as far as buying leads, or do you believe in more like at like running ads on social media to get your own leads, or do you think
I don't believe in that. I've never spent a penny in running any type of ad or buying a lead in my life. That's me personally, right?
okay.
And right now, leads aren't worth anything because there's 20 or 30 buyers, right, to every home on the market for sale,
Right.
right? So right now, you kind of have to help your realtors, kind of get listings. So if you know people that are going to be selling, get them those, right? You have a pretty big database, you've been doing this a long time, you probably know a lot of people. Right now, my main focus for every mortgage bank that I consult for and with is you have to go lean. You have to cut the fat. So if you're spending $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a month on leads, you're better off taking whatever your monthly budget is and taking a real estate partner or a financial advisor, an attorney out to lunch and making it more one-on-one, professional, individualized, rather than casting a wide net right now. Right now, less is more, right? So if you have 5 people that need to move and buy a house and they'll spend any type of dollar amount just to get a house, focus on them rather than the 50 people you need to waste your time on to get 5. So I think right now you need to really become hyper focused on quality referral sources and make sure that, again, you're not overspending because the ROI might take years to come back. So definitely chase the low hanging fruit and focus more on establishing relationships with people that are in your market doing business.
And just to touch on that, it's adapting to the market. So like when I got into the industry, 2018, 2019, buyers were still getting deals accepted with concessions. They were getting deals 10,000 under ask price. So realtors not getting as many listings as usual, right? Because it took way longer for listings to catch up than buyers. Ironically, now that we're, here, right? Buyers were worth more. So like, like Jeff said, they're really not, we don't want to say that buyers aren't worth it, but leads for buyers aren't worth it because realtors have enough leads. They have enough buyer leads. So that's not really setting you apart. And they usually cost more, like Jeff said, than doing things that realtors really need, which is getting listings. You can get listings by mailers. You can get listings by building them, social media posts, which can cost you a penny compared to what you pay on leads. And it makes you look like you're investing in their success, not just viewing them as a money sign. And maybe going to their open houses and calling their open house leads, while they're dealing with the 30 offers on the home, they don't have time to follow up with those open house leads, but the open house leads are buyers, which is how lenders make money. So you could call them at the same time. Guess how much those open house leads cost you? Zero.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Best of luck.
Thank
Sheree,
you.
Roland, do you have any questions?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Fine. How are you?
Doing well.
Well, I'm not a loan officer yet. I just passed my test a week or so ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm in Maryland. I completed my state requirements, so I'm working on my application. So my question would be, as far as finding a sponsor, what would be, and then I'm licensed as a realtor as well, so that may be a hindrance for some people.
Listen, you might be looking at your sponsors. You never know.
Hi.
We don't discriminate. My best friend's from Maryland. He's from West Baltimore.
I'm licensed there.
Oh yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
No, go ahead with your question. I'm sorry. I was just joking around.
So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's the best way for me as far as finding a sponsor? Like, what should I look for? I know training is very important.
If training is important to you, then again, I'm not joking. I think we have the best operations set up in the country, and we did $29 billion of business last year, so our numbers kind of speak for ourselves. If you want a hyper local company, that's not necessarily frowned upon either. So I believe you have to have physical and virtual support. But you're in this business on your own. It's a lonely officer, right? I would say speak to maybe 5 or 10 different companies and managers and go with your gut on who you find to be the best fit for you from a mentorship role, experience role, and not worry about what they say they're going to pay you. They can say they're going to pay you anything, but if you can't bring in a deal, it doesn't matter what they say they're going to pay you, right? So I believe in like a full A to Z approach and having the right resources available to help you when you have those problems.
Okay.
But best of luck. Keep in touch. If you want to reach out, Greg and I are happy to speak with you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Roland, do you have anything for us?
I do. What's the best way to approach financial advisors and attorneys?
Show up and say hello and say, hey, what do you focus on? How can I help you? What's your craft? What are you looking for? And then vice versa, how you can help each other. Right?
Roland, do you have a financial advisor that you work with, like for yourself?
I do.
So, I mean, what I did was, I got a financial advisor. I really like how they operate. They've helped me with stock market advice and life insurance policies and putting my money to make it work for me, right? So I would say with financial advisors, you really want to work with people that you're familiar with how they operate, right? Because that's going to be the easiest way for you to get them accurate people that they can work with. There's all different types of financial advisors and the kind of demographics they work with, right? It's not, and that's why it's also not bad to have more than one. So I would say speak to your financial advisors and ask them what is their basic clientele. What are their basic goals with their clientele? What do they specialize in?
What's the minimum money you have to have in order
Right.
to be part of the network?
Because I'll tell you this, financial advisors are all about cash flow. So a lot of financial advisors believe that it's not about the price, it's about the opportunity, right? So they're not going to be rate sensitive. They're not going to be, they don't believe mostly in bigger down payments. They believe to use a smaller down payment and make your debt work for you. It's called using smart debt. That works hand in hand with a lender because lenders give you the ability to have a smart debt, which a mortgage, despite the rates what they are right now, is still the smartest debt that you can have because it's an appreciating asset. Rates are still low compared to other types of debt you can use, and you use that appreciating assets to make your money work for you. So as long as you have that ability and that that focused vision with your financial advisors, now you have a reason to give your clients, whether they're future, present, or closed deals, to the financial advisors, and then they're going to help those clients come back to you or give them other clients that they're working with because now they know that you're a part of their same vision. And that's really what separates financial advisors, is having people show them that their vision isn't about just them taking their money, is to help the client use their money to their best advantage.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
You're welcome, guys. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys all joining. We're going to wrap this up. Greg and I are always available. He'll definitely be back on Zoom at noon. Hope you guys are all well and, stay focused, stay locked in. The market's going to get hard and choppy and volatile. It's fine. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So hope you guys are all well. Greg, thanks for joining today and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You're
You
welcome,
too.
guys.